Hello, this is Community Unity Now, the D Taikuna Show. My co-host Bill Morton, president of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce, is not here with us today. I am Trudy Leong, administrator of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce. Our very special guest is LaShun James. She is vice president of Government Affairs and Community Relations at Addus HomeCare. Welcome, LaShun.
Thank you.
Well, let's first talk about what the Addus HomeCare does, and then we'll jump off from there.
Yes, so thank you again for having me. And Addus HomeCare, we are a national healthcare company, and actually we started right here in Chicago in 1979 and have continued to grow over 40 plus years. We currently have 33,000 employees, 40,000 patients that we see and serve weekly, and we're in 200 plus locations throughout Illinois and all across the country. We provide home health, home care, and hospice. Our lifestyle options Addus company provides our private pay and our home health, and then our Journey Care Addus company provides our hospice in the state of Illinois.
What is Journey? How do you spell Journey?
Journey Care.
Journey. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you also work with faith-based organizations. How does that work?
So in my role as Vice President of Government Affairs and Community Relations, I love working with the community. And one of the communities that I work closely with is our faith-based community, pastors and ministers all across the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. They asked me to come out and talk about issues, what services, services that we provide. And just recently, I partnered with New Progressive Missionary Baptist Church, and they had me to come talk about caregivers. And I thought to myself, and I said, oh, who takes care of the caregivers? Mm-hmm. And so we were able to have that discussion and really talk about what is it that our caregivers need and how can we continue to support them as they are supporting our seniors in their homes.
Caregivers are very stressed out. There's so much to do, and then they still have to make a living and provide.
Yes, yes. And one of the things that we talked about and that the Illinois Department of Aging provides is support for our caregivers, right? Sometimes you need somebody to talk to, a support team, to really talk about what's bothering you, what we can do to support them. And so now I believe the Illinois Department of Aging is now having caregiving times and presentations and groups where caregivers can reach out to them and provide some support.
So that's new. They didn't realize how important taking care of the caregivers was.
That's
before.
right. That's right.
So was it your efforts that brought this on their radar?
Well, I can't take credit for that. I wish I could, but I have to say that a team effort. Addus, along with all of the providers in the state of Illinois, and the director, Mary Kilo, with the Illinois Department of Aging and her team, listening to providers, coming in and talking to us to see what our needs are, how can we be of support, and just developing and growing that partnership. So I think it consists of all of us playing a role and saying, hey, here's what we need. You know, providers having challenges and recruiting home care workers. And so all of us played that role in making sure that we articulated what our needs are to the Illinois Department of Aging.
What are like the 3 top needs of caregivers?
Oh, wow. flexibility in their work schedule, right? They have, in addition to other things that they need flexibility in their schedules. They need their supervisors to be there, to be of support. And I tell people, when caregivers call the office, they're not calling because they don't have anything to do. They're calling because I need some help. So being supportive and listening to the needs of our caregivers. And then also thinking of support groups so that they can so that they know they're not alone.
They could vent.
Right.
Yes, because I think that later when you give out your phone number, there'll be a lot of caregivers that I need some support.
Yes, yes. Love my caregivers. Yes.
What about like when Addus started? You said in 1979 in Chicago. So that was with the in conjunction with working with the CHA. What happened to jumpstart this sort of service? So when Addus started in 1979, we were focused on just home care. And just recently, I think when I was with the Chicago Department of Aging and the Chicago Housing Authority, I partnered with everyone, home care providers, and making sure that our seniors in public housing had the services and resources that they need. And I tell people more than ever today, now more than ever, we need to partner. We need to collaborate more than ever with the community so that we can continue doing what we need to do for our seniors and making sure that they don't have to go into institutions, because our seniors want to be at home with their family members, with their grandchildren, and instead of institutions. And statistics have shown that when seniors go into nursing homes and other institutions, their health starts to decline more faster than ever. Yes. I just wanted to mention this sad incident that happened in Rogers Park in the James Snyder building. Right now outside there's a heat wave, and then there was another heat wave a couple of years back, and then somehow the administration of that building was they thought that they had to maintain the heat until June the 1st, so they had the heat on while these seniors were in their units, and they didn't turn the heat off. So there were a couple of seniors that died. I'm so surprised that they at that time any of those seniors, you wouldn't know, but it's such a big building and they're almost all seniors. I'm so surprised that there were now no caregivers there that could have helped sound the alarm.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but had there been, I'm sure caregivers, they could have worked and connected with the management company and the coordination teams there. So caregivers are important in being in those senior buildings and connecting to working with the management companies and understanding what the needs are and et cetera. It's just an asset to have caregivers in those buildings.
So absolutely. So that's the jump off for the question, because there was that situation right now. Like when caregivers go to their clients or they're just taking care of their family members, and they do see maybe something wrong. Where should they go? You did mention to talk with the administration, but I think like the seniors try to talk with the administration. They try to talk with the elected officials, and still the problem persisted until 5 people died, I think.
Yeah, and again, I think that's where more community relations, more trainings need to take place so that folks know what resources that are available, what is the protocols that should happen. But yeah, we are certainly open, and I am open to working in the community to talk about what strategies should we have in terms of caregivers? What can we do more of from a provider perspective, and working with the management company and what they call the service coordinators in those buildings. So it's not a competition. It's all about working together collaboratively to make sure that the seniors are getting the resources and the services that are needed so that we can prevent things happening.
And then, of course, there's not only that. When you're taking care of someone, anything could happen. There's always Murphy's Law that there's something unexpected, and then they need to understand how to deal with it. So. Is there like some training over there, or the support groups? Do the support groups talk about issues like this as well?
I'm not sure. I've not attended one of the support groups, but let me go back. Our caregivers at Addus, we train them on how to report changes in client conditions.
Okay.
So they are the eyes and ears. And so they report that back to the office. We then contact who we need to contact, or if that's a family member, if that's the management company, whoever that is, to say, hey, this is what Ms. Jones is going through, and this is what's needed. So we train our aides to be those eyes and ears and what we call reporting changes in clients' conditions.
Okay. Yes. And that has been long-standing, right? Because yes. Yeah, well, I wish that an Addus home care worker was in that building, and then maybe those lives didn't have to be lost that way. It's such a sad, I think it was like days of warning. Yeah. But I think they have learned because, there's such an alarm that check with your seniors now, and right now with the heat wave.
That's
and
right.
That, yes.
And I remember when I was with the Chicago Housing Authority, I'm not sure if they still do this, or they used to do well-being checks.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember going from door to door, floor to floor, in family housing and in senior housing, and we did those well-being checks.
Okay. And emergency conditions or checks like maybe occasionally anyway.
Absolutely. Heat waves, it was really during the heat waves, more so. But yeah, I think, again, it is important. If you don't see, if Mr. Jones is normally downstairs and you don't see him, then that should be a protocol to me in those buildings to say, hey, let's go knock on Mr. Jones' door, because it's a community.
Right.
It's a family, a community in those senior buildings.
So let's get back to the faith-based organizations,
Yes.
because what you just spoke about those conditions that where someone needs to be alerted. I'm sure that the faith-based organizations, the pastors talk with their parishioners, and then oftentimes they see the need. Do you ever get the faith-based organizations coming to you and asking for advice about how to help so-and-so?
So yeah, I get calls from leaderships in the church, and I give them, resources, contact numbers. I work with Mount Carmel Children of God Missionary Baptist Church, Pastor Butts and Pastor Newland, and they're always caring. I stay in contact with them and along with others to give them resources, to invite other people out. And one of the things that I like is that they do things on Sundays, right after church, where seniors are already there. And so we provide some lunch, and then we present on various resources. Work with Cook County Health. And I invite Cook County to come out and talk about resources that are available. In addition to others, for example, I work with NAMI, the National Association of Mental Illness, and we'll be doing some presentations on mental health. And so I am about resources, connections, partnerships, so that we can continue together, not competing, but together to assist and to provide resources to seniors and veterans and people with disabilities.
Do you ever have any situations where maybe a homeless person has finally found housing, but they do need that home care too? Do you have any situations where your workers help people like that as well?
Now, the caregivers don't, but I would say that's more so case managers that are in those buildings, in those senior buildings, that's connecting those seniors to services, which may be a phone call to me to say, hey, this client is now here and may need some home care services.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then what about the veterans? We hear so much about veterans being homeless, and then they're not getting the services they need. And then what is your experience with the veteran clients?
I think veterans shouldn't need anything. They are eligible for home care, home health. That's part of their benefits. And so again, as I continue to say, it's a partnership. I need to do more with the VA so that we develop that working relationship, which we have, to make sure they know to call me if I need to provide any additional resources, or or in our case coordination unit, how does seniors know what's the first step in getting home care services? So that first step is calling that case coordination unit to say, I need home care services, to get that case manager out to the home to conduct that assessment to see what they qualify for.
Is the case coordination unit with Addus or with the state of Illinois?
State of Illinois is a separate. So we're the providers, and then there's the case coordination unit. The case coordination unit is the one that conducts the assessment and then refer them to a home care provider. And so that case coordination unit, and I tell seniors and family members, don't hold back. When that case manager comes in, it's important to paint that picture as to what your needs are.
Sometimes they're too embarrassed to talk about the needs.
Yes, yes. So that they can then say at the end, Ms. Jones needs 5 days, 5 hours. The maximum the state will pay for under the state waiver is 5 days, 5 hours, or 6 days, 5 hours.
5 hours per day?
Per day for 6 hours. That's the maximum. So, but again, I may qualify for 4 days, 3 hours, but depending on your needs, you may qualify for 5 days, 4 hours.
So the total weekly hours is about 20 hours?
About 25 hours a week. Yes.
Wow, okay.
Yes.
And is that sufficient?
Depends. Everyone is different. It's a support to the family. So you have, and again, I'm so grateful for the Department of Aging that allows us under the state waiver to have a preferred worker or a family member that can provide those services.
Family members are the best. At least they're already familiar with the situation.
Yeah, or a church member, or a neighbor that I'm, or another relative. So, and again, you don't have to, because we have qualified workers. But many times seniors say, oh, I don't know that person. I'm more familiar with my neighbor, And so I like that we have those options.
So besides home healthcare, is there anything else that the services? I know you're dedicated to home care, but sometimes there is that little branch off. So is there anything connected with what you do?
Again, in addition to our home care, home health is the medical side. So that's the physical therapy. That's the occupational therapy. That's the visiting nurse that can come in under the home health part of our company.
So in other words, the physical rehab people could go to the homes.
Yes.
Never realized that. Without that was like, it has to be specialized, has to be, okay.
Yes.
So is that used a lot? Because if they were able to use it more, I think people would be a lot more healthier.
I think so too. And again, that goes to educating our faith-based, educating communities, partnering with or other organizations to get the word out so that families knows that the resources are here, the services are here, and so we have to do more partnership.
Yeah, because there's so much for the community to learn. For instance, you're telling me that the physical rehab people could go to the house, the home, to do that rehab. I had no idea, and I'm sure that others don't have any idea too, and that is so very helpful. Okay, let's pick your brain a little bit more. What other services are also available to go out into the homes as well that we haven't touched on?
Well, those are the main ones that Addus and other providers have to offer. And I think, when you think of home care, it's that companionship.
Okay, so oftentimes, there might be mental issues too. Let's say maybe Alzheimer's or dementia, but their companionship helps. And sometimes therapists helps too. So, are there any therapists dedicated to helping seniors with dementia and Alzheimer's as well that go into the home?
I think we do, but if we don't, then we work with other organizations that can do that. So that's where caregivers report that, or we may work with their existing provider, doctor or a nurse that they have, and we can report that to their physician so that the needed services are looked into to make sure that they get those services. So the important thing is reporting changes in client conditions from our caregivers.
And then there's also there's no need to go back to the case coordination unit, right? Once there's something to report, then you could go on from there. There's
No. We should go back to our case coordination unit because those are the folks, the case managers are the ones that are assessing. And so we get the referrals from the case coordination unit. We have to go back and report to those case coordination units.
So in other words, for that sad situation at James Snyder, if they had gone to the case coordination unit somehow, that would have started the ball rolling and probably helped those seniors a lot.
In my opinion, yes.
Wow, such a waste. Yeah. Anyway, when you go out into the community, what are the questions that you get the most from those people in the audience? And the audience, is it usually caregivers or are they seniors?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Caregivers and mostly seniors. These are seniors that are moving and grooving and getting information and getting resources.
And some seniors are caregivers.
Absolutely.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, like my mom. Yes.
And what are some of the questions, would you say?
So some of the questions are, how many hours can I get? Can I get an additional hours? Yes, you can get additional hours, but you got to be reassessed.
By the case coordination.
By the case coordination, yes. Right. And can my son take care of me? Can a family member take care of me? Can I do other things? Can I go to the senior facility and still have...
Can I go to watch a movie?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. LaShun James, if our viewers want to learn more about you, what your work is, and also more about Addus HomeCare, where should they go?
Well, our website is www.addus.com. Addus. My email address is LaShun, Ljames, Ljames, at addus.com, and my phone number 708-227-9223. Reach out to me. I would love to partner with you. Let's Take care. Let's continue to partner and take care of our seniors in the state of Illinois.
Thank you so much, LaShun James. Thank you for watching Community Unity Now, the D Tycoon Show. From Bill Morton, President of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce, and me, Trudy Leong, Administrator of the Chamber. We thank you again so much for watching, and we will see you again next week.